Hi guys, welcome back to part 6. Today we've got a bit of a making video. We're going to be looking at the Escort Cosworth WRC steering shaft, which comprises of a long steering shaft which goes through 2 bearings in the bulkhead, connects to a universal joint, then to a stub shaft, then to another universal joint, which then mates up to the Escort Cosworth steering rack. So what I've done is I've used a Corsa B steering rack, which is obviously off a Vauxhall Corsa. That's electronically assisted, so we're going to do away with the standard Escort Cosworth rack, fit a manual rack, probably off a Mark II Escort, heavy duty one, like something like a Quaif or a rally rack, manual rack. So something like 2.5 turns, 2.2, something like that. So it's a quick rack. Then it's electronically assisted as well. It's going to have the controller on it, which I've already purchased. Like I said, I'm sure it was a Corsa B rack and not a Corsa C. I can't remember now off the top of my head. But what we've had to do is modify that and cut the WRC shaft down. And there's a lot of parts you need machining to make everything fit perfect, if you know what I mean. So I've had to have 2 splined ends on a shaft, cut in half, machined down. Unfortunately, the machinist has machined the end wrong. He did it too small to fit the tube, so he's had to sleeve it, press it on, and then unfortunately he pressed it into the tube that I gave him as a mock-up, which I didn't want because it needed cutting down. So what I've had to do is slice that open, take it out. It needs TIG welded around the top of it anyway, so that's going to be part of the video. We're going to TIG weld around the top of the sleeve, so it's solid. And then where I've sliced the tube, we're going to cut it down, insert it back in, TIG weld around that, and then hopefully that's the shaft done then. And I'll show you the other parts I've had to have machined to make it work. Like I said, there's not a lot. It's not really that hard. It's just sorting all the parts out, getting them machined, getting your lengths right and stuff like that, because you know it does take a bit of time. And unfortunately you've got a roll cage, so you're climbing in and out, bending underneath the bulkhead and stuff like that. So it's a fiddly job, but yeah, like I said, we're nearly there now. Right guys, as you can see, that's the Escort Cosworth standard steering rack. That will be getting binned at some point, or hopefully I can make it into a manual rack. But whatever happens, so I'm not sure if I can remove them hydraulic pipes and just run it as a manual rack. I need to contact someone and ask him really. If not, it'll just be getting replaced with a Mark II Escort rack. So there might be some new mounts, but Quaif, as I understand, they can make the splined end to fit whatever I want. So I can just supply that rack and they can make the splined end as long or short as I want. So yeah, there's a rack mounted to the front cross member, and then you can see the little stub shaft there. That's connected to the WRC universal joint, and you can just see the pipe. Let me go down about there. You can just see it goes through the bulkhead in a spherical bearing, which is going to be capped off, so it's going to have like a gate around it full of grease to stop the water ingress. I'll just show you in the car. So that's just a standard shaft, which is just a piece of tube with a splined end welded in. And then we've got, so that's the, so that there is all standard Corsa B up until that end there. And what I've had the end, I've had it machined with a thread on it. So I don't know if you can see it. So that fitment there, it actually threaded on, so it was nice and straight, and then I've welded it and sanded it down, so you can probably see where I pinned it at the top there. just pinned it. So that still fits on perfect. Get it back on. Trying to do it with one hand. Oh well. So yeah, that's the shaft. So I run a spherical bearing in that. I made that bracket, that lower cage, one for the machine gun style holes. So that's all going to need powder coating. Then you've got a standard rack. I made a drop bracket there at the back. I don't know if you can see it, which is this piece here. So as you adjust the front pieces here, drop that down. You undo the screws at the back. You've got a couple of screws. And then that'll slide down or up as you want it. It uses a standard, let me just try and whip this out if I can. 1 second. So this is the standard corsa joint. So universal joint, which goes down to a D-shaped section. So I don't know if you can see in there. I think you can see. You can just see the top of it. So that's a part I've had to get machined there. So that was a splined end. As you can see, the splines there, and then they've had to machine it down to on both sides to fit into the universal joint. Standard fitment. So what that will be done, that will be getting drilled there and there and pinned, and then TIG welded around the front there. So that's all set up, and there you can see the other pin that I've had to do. You can see where it's got a slice down it, where I've had to cut the tube. So what they've done is they've machined it down to that size, and it needs to be fit that tube. So as you can see, you know, that would have wobbled around big time. So they've sleeved it, which I said was okay, but I wanted to TIG weld it around the end there. So I know the sleeve wasn't going to move, even though they pressed it on. So I'm glad that I've took it back out. So that'll be getting TIG welded around there. Then the only thing we've got to do there, you can just see the pipe. It's probably got a little slice in the end, you can see it there. I've had to cut through to release it because I pressed it in. So that needs cutting down. I've marked it, so that's going to get cut down. And then hopefully, like I said, that should all fit up perfect as soon as I've got the measurements right. Now that bearing there, that could have been dropping back slightly, the bearing, but it is what it is. So the end of the universal joint there, the lip is going to be flush with the front of the bearing, which isn't ideal. It could have been just raised off a little bit, but like I said, it's not going to cause a problem. So, and it's only a bearing at the end of the day. So yeah, that's what we've got to do. We've got to TIG weld that, get that all sorted. Like I said, pin that, get that done, cut the tube down. So I'm just setting all the tube up with the lengths, because if you look at the, if you look at the universal joint there, there's actually like a flat D section that's been machined into it. You could probably just about see the start of it there. So that allows a bolt to slide through. See it in the background there, just through the gap. So you want that universal joint flush with the end. You don't want it sticking through, because if it does, obviously it binds on your thingy. So like that top one there, that could probably be done with moving back a smidge, just so it doesn't lock out or anything. So we'll sort that out. So yeah, we've got, like I said, we've got, that's a 3/8, I think, 48 spline, I'm sure they are. So that's That's a universal joint link there. So there's one, and then, like I said, there's the other one down on the car. That just goes down. That's going to have a cap on the back of it with a removable plate, just to allow you to, again, to pack that full of grease, just to stop water ingress, and obviously lubricate it. So yeah, that's it. So guys, that was the original shaft, which was about a metre long. Obviously I've cut it down to get what I want, but it had already got the spline end on, so that's that flat piece I was telling you where the bolt runs through. So that was the tube I supplied, and obviously they pressed that into the tube, sleeved it. Well, I wanted to TIG weld around it ideally, so I've had to slice the tube. That's the mark, so we need to cut that down nice and straight, and then just see what the length's like. So there's going to be a lot of like refitting and just checking what the score is really. So we're just going to trim this tube down there, get it on the chop saw so it's nice and straight. Visor, health and safety, otherwise I'll be getting bollocking off the missus, because she does health and safety. I know, tell me about it. So, as you can see, it's nice, just needs deburring inside. I've just done that to take the coating off. I think it can be quite toxic when you're welding, as far as I believe. So yeah, just give it a nice clean with the end of debur. You can see that. There we go. There you can see the steering shaft is flush with the end of the bearing. So what we need to do now is to get this fitted up, which is a fiddly job, two-handed job. So I'll have to put the camera down, try and get a picture of it, see if that slides into there. If it doesn't, we might have to trim the tube down a little bit more, but like I said, we're running out of room. If we have to, then we'll have to remount that bearing. Hopefully we won't have to. Alright, let me just get a spanner. I just need to slacken that off. Hopefully just give me that bit of room to get that in. Come on, baby! That's so close, it's unreal. Hey up, we're in. Whoop whoop. So the bolt in. That's ported up. Let's just have a look at that now. That's allowing me that movement. Where's my bolt gone? Where's my bolt gone? So it's in it. So we're not. Why is it not? Probably fell down the back. But anyway. That there is perfectly flush, so that has worked out really well. As you can see now, that's the steering shaft, that fitted up perfect. We need to pin that, and I'll just try and see if we can get a picture of. Sorry, it's a bit hard. I'll just be able to see the actual end of the spline in there. So that's perfect. That's perfectly there. That's perfect on the underside there, look, flush. Just how I want it. I don't want it sticking through and binding up. So that works. That's working. Treat. So that's how the assembly looks. Sorry for the squeak, that's me foot stick. Obviously that bolt's gonna just come out, it's not got a nut on it. You see it misses the bulkhead. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Happy with that. That's that problem sorted. So now what we've got to do is take it all apart again, TIG weld that up, TIG weld that tube up, and that is the steering shaft on. So look, spline on here machined up and threaded. The cost of the spline bar was 48 quid, so that did 2 ends, so I cut it in half, but then I've had to have it machined down. That was 120 quid to have machined down, that and some bushes made. To be fair, Swift Engineering in Derby is absolutely brilliant with me. I think they know it's like a little project. I've not told them I do the videos and stuff like that, but a big shout out to them because they always do bushes and silly little things for me, like drop of an hat, and it's always pretty much spot on. Like I said, apart from the one mistake with the thing, but they rectified it straight away. So yeah, shout out to Swift and the lads there, done a good job. So like I said, that works perfect now, no binding, no knocking, no crunching. Like them joints, let's just have a look. They are tight, but I don't think they're touching. Right there at the top. I mean, but I can just bevel underneath there where my finger is. I could just bevel that out slightly, but I don't think they're actually touching. It doesn't feel like it's binding, so like I said, I'll put a bit of paint on it and see if it's picking up on the other side. And if it's not, then job's a good one. Right, let's take it apart and get some welding done. Right guys, what we need to do is drill some holes in here. These are purposely made din dowels. So that's what they are. A 5mm dowel, high strength dowel basically. You can't just use normal mild steel, you've got to use them. And then what we'll do, we'll hammer them in and then TIG weld them over the end. So we're piloting it. Back it. as you can see, we've got the 2 holes right through. The pin, they just slot straight through because they're 5mm. That's what we wanted. And then we'll just TIG weld them down. That's it, might need a bit of an hammer. Yeah, they'll end up going through. But like I said, it'll look like that. So you've got 1 pin there, another pin there, and then as you're doing that, there, you'll just fuse both ends of that down, and that'll be welded. We're going to TIG weld around there as well, just to make sure all the way around. What I'm going to do with this as well, I'm not going to dial it, but I'm just going to put a big spot weld on it and flush it round it again. So I'm going to make it back round again, so just TIG weld that up. So it's just got an extra bit of a strength to it. Not going all the way down, just give it a little hole like that. I'm going to open that out a little bit to M8. As you can see there, made it to M8. So what's happened is we're going to fill that full of weld and then just round it off again so it fits in the tube perfect. So that's called plug welding, if anyone don't know. So we're going to plug weld that, weld round the end here, all the way around that bit, and then that's that part done. So we just set the old trusty Artec TIG welder up. We've got it on 45 amps. Let's just flip that up. Got 45 amps. We can pulse it, but don't really want to be fair. Can't be arsed with it. So yeah, 45 amps straight in basically. Control it with the foot pedal. Set your earth lead up, obviously. Foot pedal. Gas on. I run a gas lens. So it's a bit alright. That's 15. That'll be fine for what I'm doing. So yeah, let's get to it. That's it. Gas is on. Earth lead's connected. Use a CK torch with a big BBW head on it. I'll sharpen the tungsten just because I've used it recently. Nice sharp, clean tungsten. If we ever zoom in, there we go. The stick out on this, you can have it a lot further than that, but that's fine for what we need. So we get gas, good gas coverage. So the surface rush around the end, need to get that cleaned off. A clean workpiece is always a good workpiece. So we'll just Scotch Brite that with a Scotch Brite pad. Yeah, you can see it's a lot cleaner. So now it should be ready to weld. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to fill that first. Fill that full of weld. Fuse it together. Put some filler in it. can see, that's that filled now, so we'll just dress that back, and that's plug welded. Right guys, this time we've got it on pulse because it's got a chamfered edge on it, so we just want to blend that edge in. We don't want to massively overheat it. We've gone up to 60 amps as well, so let's see how we get on. That's it, as you can see. It's TIG welded around there, around the top. Plug weld. That just wants dressing back. So we'll crack on with that now, and then that bit's done. Just going to use a 3M Scotch Brite pad. Fantastic little things these are for cleaning up. So there you go, just smoothed off. Not that bothered about it being too fancy as it's going inside the tube. That's plug welded and welded around top now, so it's going nowhere. I'm just going to give this tube a little bit more of a clean, go a bit further up. Our tube's ready to weld up. What we'll do is get that line welded up first, get it tacked in, and then we can drill some holes in for the, remember, for the dim plugs. Right guys, as you can see, nice and welded up. We should just have a raised, hopefully a raised bit on it. Oops. You'll probably just tell, so it's not going to take much grinding or cleaning up. I might have to give it another pass, but if I'm not happy with it, I'll just put another bead down it. But now I'm just going to TIG around that, fuse that piece, and that's it done. That's it lined up. You still see? Yeah. So guys, that's the shaft complete. To be fair, I don't even think I'm going to pin it. I might do. But yeah, it's come up really well. Like I said, I cleaned the whole thing. So there's only that little pin for it there. Other than that, I'm happy with that. Like I said, I probably will pin it, to be fair, but I'm just not made my mind up yet. So I've got the pins in, as you can see. I've countersunk the holes slightly, so the pin shouldn't melt into that hole. So it's a nice fusion, but I'm not bothered about these sticking out because they're not going to get in the way. So let's weld them up. That's unpinned, TIG welded around the end there. That's unpinned. They ain't got to be super pretty. Like I said, it's all going to get powder coated. That's not going anywhere. That's that bit done. Just going to drill a pin in the end of the rod here. Decent little bit. Or 5 mil, should I say? Beautiful. Like I said, we'll just countersink them. So hopefully the weld flows into it I think so. We've not got too much grinding to do. So as you can see, that's done, countersinked. There you go, as you can see, it's rolled on both sides, bit of an overlap, but we'll sand them down so they're flush, so we've got to go through the bearings. That's it guys, all done, pinned for strength, so that's not going anywhere. Let's go and try and see if it goes through the hole. Both sides. That's a good start. That's a good start. So guys, we've got the shaft, the lower shaft fitted, the bearings fitted up. As you can see, the universal joint. Let me just spin that around. You can see the pins that have been welded in and around the bottom. And that's onto the stunted corsa joint, which is the slats coming from that. It's not timed up, it's just finger tight at the minute. But as you can see, that rotates pretty decent. Like I said, it looks a bit bumpy because of the slack in the joint. It's not timed up yet. So once it's timed up, it'll be a lot smoother. Yeah, that's that problem solved. That's the steering joint done. Just show you around in the car. There we go. See the steering joint in the car there. The nuts are a little bit longer than the bolts, to be fair. They need to be the correct size, so it's just catching on the diff arse in there. But yeah, other than that, that's a good job. That bearing needs replacing because it's knackered. That's not a problem. Yep, that's that steering shaft all completed now. Right guys, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Remember, please subscribe and like, and we'll see you next time on Project Rallycross.